here, and I hope that you are ready to learn some English. I am so happy that I can be doing this English lesson outside. Although I think we had every kind of weather in the last half an hour. It rained a little bit. There were a few spits of rain coming down, and then it was supposed to be cloudy, and then all of a sudden the sun came out, so I needed to move where I am sitting, and then now it's kind of cloudy again. So I hope it doesn't rain. I hope things go well, although I do have my umbrella with me if it does start to rain. My plan is to do this live English lesson no matter what happens. So anyways, welcome to this lesson. As you know, the Saturday lesson is a question and answer lesson. There will be a link that both Todd and Dave and Nightbot will share in the chat. If you have a question about the English language, please use that link to ask the question. I will not get through all the questions. There are already 6 questions that I need to answer, but I will do my best to answer as many of them as I can. So I think we should get started. Oh, but first, please keep the chat in English only. Please use the chat to have conversations. And again, please use the link if you have a question. So anyways, hi to everyone who is here. We're already at 221 people. That always surprises me. First question is from Deekshanch, and it's the question that Deekshanch asked last week, and then we had technical difficulties and I didn't really get a chance to answer it. And the question is, hi Bob, what's your earliest childhood memory, and do you remember anything as a baby? So I don't remember anything as a baby, and my earliest memory is helping my grandfather. My dad's father was also a farmer, and I remember helping him build something. Well, I wasn't really helping him, I was watching him. I remember watching him build something on the back of our barn. I think a ramp for the cows to get in the barn. So thanks, Deekshanch, for asking that question. Questions about earliest memories are always fascinating for me. Again, I do want to say hi to everyone who's here in the chat. I see a lot of hellos going by. Hello, Patricia. Hello, Nang. Hello, Madi. Hello, JZ Milano. It's good to see everyone in the chat. It's awesome. Salah Abad, KSA. Do people in Canada postpone the marriage ceremony because of Corona, or do they hold a simplified family party because of Corona? So both. I know some people are getting married, just the bride and groom, and then whoever is officiating does it via the internet, and so they just have a very simple wedding. And I also know that some people are postponing weddings. Because we grow flowers and people buy flowers for weddings, we are well aware of different weddings that have been postponed. So I think most people are postponing their weddings, but certainly some people are just having small wedding ceremonies. Next question is from Ahmad. Hi, our beloved teacher. Hi, Ahmad. What is the difference between soldiers and troops? They are the same word in my opinion. So you can send soldiers to go fight in a battle. You can send troops to go fight in a battle. Very, very similar. Ruslan has the next question. Let's get that posted in the chat. Ruslan says, hello, dear teacher Bob. Hi, Ruslan. What expression should I use to say that I'm not a stranger when I knock at the door and someone asks who is coming? Just say, it's me, Ruslan. If I was to knock on a door and someone inside the house said, who is it? I would say, it's me, Bob. How's it going? I'm just coming by to borrow some sugar, or whatever reason I'm going to that person's house. So that's what I would say, Ruslan, for sure. Let's see here. Valerie, hi Bob, what is the difference between urgent and immediate? And what does shotgun wedding and she is knocked up mean? See ya. So let me answer the first part of that question. When something is urgent, or when it needs to be done immediately, it means that you need to do it quickly. So notice there was a slight difference in how I used them. If my child was hurt, it would be urgent. I would have an urgent need to bring them to the hospital, and I would want to bring them to the hospital immediately. So notice I did add the ly there. And then your second question, a shotgun wedding is a wedding that takes place because the couple are going to have a baby and they're not married, and everyone thinks they should get married before the baby is born. So hopefully you understood that. And if you say that someone is knocked up, it means that they are pregnant. It is a very informal and slang way of saying it, and slightly rude to say it that way. But if you were to say that someone is knocked up, it means that they are pregnant and they are expecting to have a baby. Let's see here. Next question from Nathan GR. Hi, Nathan. Hello, Teacher Bob. How are you? I have two tricky words, ramble and rumble. Thanks in advance. So when I talk for a very long time, I always say that I am rambling. I tend to ramble. It's one of the things that I think makes me good at doing live streams, because I do like talking. But if someone rambles on, or if someone likes to ramble, it means they talk a lot. So that's the pronunciation and the meaning. And a rumble, when a big truck goes by on my road, there's a rumble. You can hear like boom, 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 boom. When it goes over the bridge, especially, if a big empty truck goes over the bridge, you will hear it rumble. And thunder sometimes rumbles. Hopefully we don't hear any thunder out here today. Let me clean up my questions here, everybody. By the way, so far so good. Knock on wood. The live stream seems to be working well. I am just going to... There's a rumble. Check it. The only thing that you might be hearing is there is a lot of wind right now. So hopefully, I see someone in the chat asking if this is live TV. This is live. This is live right now. It is Saturday morning. It's a little bit after 11, and I am answering English questions. Again, remember, in the chat, use the chat for conversation. Please, if you have a question, use the form to answer the question. Sam from Taiwan. Let me get that question posted in the chat. Sam, hi Teacher Bob, it's Sam from Taiwan. You mentioned about kids will move out when they grow up. Could they choose to stay with parents even if they get married? So that's rare in Canada and the United States. It does happen sometimes, but usually when that happens, the parents will live in one part of the house and the children will live in another, and the parents will live in what's called a granny flat or an in-law suite. It usually happens if one parent dies and only one parent is left. Sometimes that parent will move in with one of the children, and they might live in the same house or in a granny flat or an in-law suite. It's not very common in North America for elderly parents to live with their adult children. I know that that is common in other places in the world, but in Canada and North America, it's not. It should be. But we tend to have all of our older folks live in old age homes. So anyways, I think that might change a bit though in the future. Let's see here. Fabio from Italy has the next question. Digital, in the chat, you're asking the same question over and over. Please use the form to ask the question, Digital. That would be great. Fabio from Italy. Hi, Bob. Could you explain how to use the expression make it to express getting somewhere or succeeding in something? Thanks a lot. So when you say that you've made it, or you want to make it in a certain profession, it means that you want to get an education and you want to get a job in that profession, and you want to work your way up in the company a little bit so that you will have that job for your whole life. So if you want to make it in the music industry, you want to create a song that everyone loves, and then hopefully lots of people buy your song. If you do that more than once, we would say that you made it, okay? So it means that you have been successful. Same with on YouTube. Some people want to make it on YouTube. That means that they want lots of subscribers and they want to have lots of people watching their videos. Johnny has the next question. It's about wildlife. Johnny's question is this: are there many bears in Canada and around where you live? Bears are one of my fears about living in Canada. There are no bears in this area, okay? There are bears further north. Sorry, I should have pointed that way. There are bears further north in Canada, but in my area there are no bears. But if you go camping in the northern parts of Ontario and other provinces in Canada, you do have to watch out for bears. So there are no bears in the cities though. So the cities are bear free. When you say something is bear free, it means there's no bears there. Next question is from Margarita from Ukraine. Hi, Margarita. Hi, Teacher Bob. How do we pronounce minutia? How common is this word in Canadian English, and does it have synonyms? Please give some examples how to use it. First of all, we don't use that word very much. It's basically the small details of something. Just a sec, I have to check something. I'll be right back. It will take me like 2 seconds. Okay, I'm coming back. I'm almost there. Minutia, the small details related to something. We do use the word, but not very often. So there is your answer. Next question from Hyder. Hyder says, okay, so instead of reading this incorrectly, I will read it correctly. In English, you set the alarm. When I go to bed, I set my alarm for 10 a.m. Actually, that's really late. I set my alarm for 6 a.m. And then my alarm goes off. So you set the alarm for a specific time. So Orion has a question in the chat, which I'm not going to answer. Orion says, Bob, will you turn 50 in July? Who knows? Maybe I'll turn 48. Maybe I'll be 51. Maybe I'll be 50, maybe I'll be 49. All I ever say about my age is that I'm in my late 40s. And I think in one live stream I said I was in my late 50s. I'm not, I'm in my late 40s right now. Let's see here. Let me clear up the questions I've covered. Give me a moment here. Next question from Ario. Hola, Ario. Hola, Mr. Bob. What Men in Black mean? So Men in Black is a movie that stars Will Smith. There's 2 or 3 or 4 of them now. I don't think Will Smith, the actor, is in all of them. But Men in Black is a movie about government agents who fight aliens, and they wear black suits. So it's called Men in Black. Let's see here. Oleg. Hi, Bob. Hi, Oleg. What is the difference in pronunciation between bat and butt? So when you play baseball, you swing a bat. There's also a small flying creature called a bat. So B-A-T, bat. I swing a bat, but I just used the word but. But is a word we use to connect 2 sentences. So I like doing live streams outside, but it might rain today. So there you go. Bat and butt. Bat and butt. Next question from Lali. Hi, Lali. Bonjour, Bob le Canadien. Needn't and don't need. Can these 2 verbs be used interchangeably? Thanks, Bob. Well, you don't need to do that, and you needn't do that. What I would say is that needn't is not something I say a lot, okay? So you needn't bring a winter coat to the beach. So you don't need to bring a winter coat to the beach. Yeah, Panthera Nori, Teacher Bob, so mysterious. Yes, I'm a mysterious person. At least I'm not trying to tell you I'm 35, because I definitely don't look 35. So yes, Lolly, needn't and don't need, you can use interchangeably, but we don't use the word needn't very often. Although you'll hear it, you do need to know that word for sure. Let's see here. Next question, Ruben Nunez. Hello from Fortaleza, Brazil. Hello, Ruben. Teacher Bob, could you explain the difference between demonstration, rally, and protest? I appreciate your lesson. So a demonstration and a protest are very similar. It is a group of people. Usually they go to the government buildings in a city and they make signs and they have a demonstration or they have a protest because they don't agree with something. A rally is less aggressive. A rally is sometimes in support of something. So they are all large gatherings of people, but certainly a demonstration or protest is something where people are upset about something and they want to tell the government. Whereas a rally, it could be like a protest, but it's usually in support of something. People will rally in support of something. Next question from Irina. Let me get that pasted in here. Irina from Ukraine. Hi, Bob. Please explain the difference between assert and insist, between Eastern and Easterly. Thank you. Assert and insist are very similar. If I assert myself, it means that I have a certain opinion and I don't want to back down. If I assert myself, it is very similar to me insisting, although to insist is a little more specific. So if you were to say that that person asserts themselves a lot, it means that when they think something should be a certain way, they will not stop saying what they're saying. When someone insists, it means they repeat the same thing a lot to get their way. So a slight difference, but not a huge difference really. Eastern. So Eastern and easterly. So easterly is something we use to describe the wind. Sometimes we have an easterly wind or an easterly flow of something, so it describes the direction, whereas Eastern describes where something is from, or where something is. So if you are from Eastern Canada, it means that you are from the east. You came from the east. We wouldn't use easterly in that case. So easterly is attached to motion, and Eastern is attached to location. I hope that made sense. I really do. Sometimes some of you ask some really tricky questions, and I really, really like them. But sometimes they are tricky. Next question is from Amal. Let me get it posted in here. Amal Ahmed, I don't have anyone to practice English with. Is there any solution? Yes, the internet is the solution. And I know it's hard to find somebody. I do often just tell people, if you want to speak English with someone, that is the one thing. It's hard to find someone who wants to do it for free. If you speak a language that you know other people in the world want to learn, then I highly recommend you figure out how to do a language exchange. So meet with someone where you can speak your language for 30 minutes, and then hopefully they are an English native speaker and speak English for 30 minutes. If you can't do that, join a language club in your city. And if all else fails, hire someone on a website like Preply. There's a link below if you're interested. But sometimes when you are looking for a speaker, a native speaker to have a conversation with, sometimes you just have to spend some money. I know it's not fun, but that's the way it goes. Sydney Liu, hi Bob. What's the meaning of the phrase no less? Thanks, love your lessons, or no less likely? Well, it's no less likely that I will do a live stream. Yeah, that's a tricky one. I'm gonna have to look up, even as an English, let's see, example of no less likely. I know sometimes I Google the answers, but hey, that's what, so by now, Bob, is no less likely. Yeah, it's a comparison. We don't say it a lot, but I'm no less likely to get in trouble as a police officer. So I'm just gonna avoid answering that one any further. I would say look that up and look up some examples, because I don't want to give a bad example. It's not a phrase that I use a lot. So let's see here. Next, so sorry about that, Sydney. Hopefully you can find an explanation somewhere. Bernadette has the next question. Bernadette's question is, Abraham says, hello talk could be a good option to practice in the chat. Very cool, good suggestion as well. And then some kind words from Irmau, thank you. Bernadette from Belgium, hello Bob. Hello, Bernadette. Is there a difference between to repair, to mend, and to fix? So you would fix a car, you would repair a car, you would mend clothing. So if there was a hole in my jacket, I might mend my jacket. And sometimes if you break a bone, you put a cast on and wait for it to mend. So broken bones, we use the word mend as well. So slight differences depending on what you are talking about. Let's see. Jakob has the next question. Very similar. Hi Bob, how can I learn English without anyone to speak to? So first of all, if you still need to practice your reading, writing, and listening, do all that, because you can do that by yourself. And then again, what I just mentioned, you do have to try and find someone to speak English with, and it can be hard, but see if you can find someone who will do a language exchange. For those of you that speak Arabic, Spanish, French, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, I know there's different popularity of languages. I'm sorry, that's just the way the world is. But all of those languages, Portuguese, German, are all languages that people want to learn. So if you speak any of the top 15 languages in the world, you should be able to find someone to do a language exchange with. So hopefully that works out for you. Let me clear up my questions here. I am just going to check my audio for a second. I'm sorry, that's just the way the world seems to be working good. It's actually very windy here, a lot windier than I was expecting today. Mimi has the next question. This is a great question. How often do you exercise? Well, Mimi, I have to make a confession. I have not gone for a walk. I went for a walk yesterday, but before that, it's okay, Oscar. Oscar's barking at someone. I don't know if you heard him. I went for a walk yesterday for an hour. I normally walk 6 days a week. If it's a bad week, I walk for 5 days. A good week, I walk every day of the week. But I haven't walked, before yesterday, I hadn't walked for about 6 or 7 days. I just sat around and did nothing, which is crazy. Thanks, Brent, for letting me know the audio is good. Let's see who. Chico has the next. Chico from Ukraine, what is the difference between peel and strip? What does the phrase to buy the farm, do you use the word goddamn? So I don't use the word goddamn because it's a swear word and I don't tend to swear, but it is a word that as an English learner, you should be able to recognize. I don't recommend swearing if you're learning English. Save that for later if you're someone who likes to swear. But when you peel a banana, if there's paint on something, you can strip the paint off. So there's a slight difference between the two. The reason I laughed a little bit is because they have other meanings as well that I'm not going to go into here. So, and then your phrase to buy the farm can also mean to die. So if you say, Jim bought the farm, it means that he passed away. It means that Jim has died. So let's see here. Fairmin has a question about the word though. So the word though is a tricky word to learn how to use because it has a lot of different uses. I will give you a few example sentences though, so that you know what I mean. That was an example sentence right there. But you should really look this up and you should watch a video about the word though, because even though I can give you some example sentences, it wouldn't be the best help for you though. So you can see, I think I used the word though 4 times in the last minute. Just rewatch this portion and you'll see that as English speakers, we throw the word though into a lot of places. But having said that though, you don't have to know all the uses. Do you see how I used it again? Sorry, I'm being a little too silly now. So let's see here. Next question is from Israel. Let me get that pasted in. Israel says, hi Bob, good morning. Good morning. How are you? I'm good. What does really worth and be able mean? Have a nice day. Well, if something has worth, it has value to you. And if you are, and to be able to do something means that you can do it. I'm not sure if you're asking about a phrase, worth and be able. If that's a phrase you've read somewhere, I'm not sure what it means together. It's not a common phrase to my knowledge. Let's see here, James Liu. So sorry about that, Israel. I'm not sure that was the best explanation, but I tried. James Liu, hi teacher Bob. Hi James. Could you please explain what it exactly means when you say, because I'm too cheap? Thank you very much. So I don't have a Rolex because I'm too cheap. I don't drive a Lamborghini because I'm too cheap. I don't like to spend money. So I would use that phrase. I would say I'm too cheap quite often. I don't go out to eat a lot because I'm too cheap. So it really just means that you don't like to spend money. And that's actually true. Bob the Canadian is quite cheap. I'm a very cheap person. I don't like to spend money at all. Next question is from, in fact, I had to buy some new equipment and it was hard for me to buy new equipment because I'm too cheap. I don't like spending money, but I did buy some new equipment. I'm not using it yet, but I will in the future. Bye bars, I'm stuck in my mind. What does it mean? So a person who's stuck in their head or stuck in their mind is someone that spends a lot of time reading or thinking, is a person who doesn't spend a lot of time talking to other people, okay? So if I was to say, that guy, he's just stuck in his head all the time. He's just stuck in his mind. Basically, it means they are a quiet person and they don't spend a lot of time talking to other people. Elias Gomez has the next question. Elias Gomez from Brazil. Hello, Professor Bob. All right. Yes. Do you know Niagara Falls? Yes, I do. Is it close to your residence? Yes. It's about 45 minutes that way by car, and about 6 hours if you walk. No one walks that far, but that's how far away it is. Let's see. Next question is from Wei. Wei says, oh, just a sec. Something weird happened here. Let me just try the, oh, there it goes. Something weird is happening with my chat, everybody, so I'm probably going to paste this one twice. So sorry about that. Wei says, good morning, Teacher Bob. Good morning, Wei. What is the difference between the word toughness and patient? Thank you so much and hope you have a good weekend. So if you say that someone has, they're a tough person or they have a lot of toughness, it means they are resilient. It means that they are maybe stubborn. It means that they work hard. It means that when life goes badly, they keep moving forward. So if someone, that's what toughness would be in a person. Patience, or if someone is patient, simply means that they are relaxed and they don't mind waiting for things, and they don't get upset if they need to wait. That would be what patient would mean. Now, both words have other meanings related to things and versus people, etc., but I'm not going to take the time to explain all those here today, but definitely. Eli has the next question. Let me get that pasted in. Let's see. Hey, Eli. Hey, Bob. How are you doing? I just wanted to say hi and enjoy this balmy day watching this live stream. Greetings from Brazil. Well, hello, Eli. I hope things are going well way down there in the south. So, Haley. Hi, Bob. Hope there's a cat just ran by. Just for those of you that are interested in the cats. Hope you're having a good day. My question is, what does sassy and thick mean? I heard that sassy is American slang. Is it true? Thank you so much. When someone is sassy, it means that they say witty things, they say funny things, they might mock you a little bit, but a sassy person certainly is not a quiet person. Okay, if someone's sassy, they make little jokes that are a little bit off color, so they're just sassy. If you say someone is thick, that's a relatively new term that has started to go around, and it has alternate spelling. But it used to mean if someone was thick in the head, that they weren't very smart. But now if we say someone is thick, we might be saying that they're a bigger person. So you're gonna have to look that one up. There's an alternate spelling as well for thick right now. But it's definitely slang, very modern slang. So next question here, Alex from Ukraine. Hi, Bob. What is the difference between other, another, and the other? So the other day I was teaching. The other day I went to the store. This van is blue, but the other van is red. So that's how I would use the other when I'm being specific about something. Another is when you have something and then you want more of it. So if I have 1 cup of tea, I might have another, okay? And then after that, I might have another. I might have 3 cups of tea today. Thought I should drink some tea for a sec. So you can have another. And then when you use other by itself, you would say my other brother. You would say other than that, I don't have any more things to tell you. So look them up. They're very distinct in how they're used. So Deekshanch Pathak has put the new current slang spelling of thick in the chat. Thanks, Deekshanch. That is what I was talking about. Let me see here. Let me get the next question. Okay. Thanks, Elias Gomez, for the super chat. I was watching some videos about Niagara Falls, says Elias. It has some terrifying stories, but it is a very beautiful place. It is gorgeous. It is very, very nice. I think because I live so close, I don't realize always how beautiful it is. Ackner, hello Bob. What is the difference between I do have one question and I have one question? I am confused a little bit. They're the same. One emphasizes it a little bit more. If someone said, do you have one question? You could say, I have one question. Or you could say, I do have one question. And notice how I emphasized the do. I do have one question. I do. have one question. I actually have a lot of questions here. I feel like I'm getting a little bit behind, but let me just erase some of them. Sorry, the ones I've already answered. I'm cleaning up the questions. Let's see. Polly, I'm going to skip your question because it's very much grammar related, but if you're interested in examples of the past perfect and the past continuous and other sentences like that, just do a search for it. You should be able to find it. Just let me check something here. Yes, let me go back to here. Bob the Canadian's getting a little confused with what he's doing. There's too many things going on at once. Bye, Brent. Thanks for joining in. That was awesome. I don't think I copied that question completely. Let me get that again and post it in. So Huang Jiang, is it going to rain at your place? I made a little correction there. I hear the thunder. It is raining in Hanoi, Vietnam. No, I don't think it's going to rain. I think we will be fine. We have about half an hour left. I think things will go very, very well. Let's see here. Abraham has the next question. Abraham Scangurusoti. Good morning, Bob. I heard this sentence in a lot of songs. The phrase, they say jump and you say how high. What does this mean? Thank you. So I did make some corrections there when I read your sentence, just so you know. So this comes from when someone is in charge of you, and you need to do what they say, like your boss, or maybe you're in the army and you have a captain. And we always say, when they say jump, I say how high. It's a phrase we use that means when someone is your boss or someone is in charge of you, you should do what they say, okay? Without question. So it's kind of a funny phrase because it is a question, isn't it? Basically though, it basically means when I was a kid, when I worked for my dad, if he said jump, I said how high? And it means that I was ready to work and listen to him. Let's see here. Next question is from Sahet. Let's see here. And above that, Fernanda Fascinat says, I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Thank you for your excellent videos. You are welcome, Fernanda. And Sahat Hutut says, hello, Bob. I am studying journalism at university in Turkey. I have a question for you. Can an economic crisis be felt in Canada due to the virus? Yes, definitely. Right now, our government is going into debt because it is making more and more money available to people and businesses so they can survive this pandemic and this shutdown. So we will probably feel this going forward. Prices for food have stayed the same and prices overall have stayed the same. But I think that we will see prices go up in the future as we start to go back to normal. Let me just clean up my questions here. I do have a few questions in a different language, so I will not be answering those because I don't speak every language. But let me get another question post in here. So Ferris the Torontonian. Hi, Teacher Bob. How do we use the word surge and what does it mean? So if something is on the rise like this and suddenly it goes like that, that's a surge. So let's say we're talking about the number of people who are sick. So there can be a surge in new cases. Maybe I should go this way. So the number of cases is going up and then all of a sudden there's a surge in new cases. So that quick rise is what we would call a surge. Hi, Norma. I see Norma saying hi in the chat there. Let me see here. Vladimir. Let's see. Next question. Vladimir says from Moldova. Hi, Vladimir. Hi, teacher. I see that behind you there is a river. Can you tell us if you like fishing? And for fishing in Canada, sorry, I lost the question. Do you need to have a license for that? So I don't fish. I should fish more often. Because I live on this river, I think I'm allowed to fish without a license. Don't quote me on it, because for most of the places in Canada, if you want to fish, you need a fishing license for sure. Let me just check something here. Fabiano Cardox. Hi, Bob. Fabiano from Brazil. Hi, Fabiano. Are there any noticeable differences between the US and Canadian accent and pronunciation? Very slight. What I will say is that when I go to the United States, they know I'm Canadian because of my accent, but they have no problem understanding me. when I speak to someone from the United States, whether they're from Boston or Alabama or California, I have no problem understanding them. Our vocabulary is almost identical. I would say it's 99% identical, and our pronunciation is very, very similar for sure. Maudie says, we hear a little annoying around you, I think from the wind. They have no problem understanding me. It's definitely windy out here, Maudie. But there's also some geese. I'm not sure which sound you are hearing. Let's see. Next question from Andres Roja. Professor, can I always use I wish and then a verb with all verbs, or any verb specifically? Let me see here. So I wish I knew the answer. I wish I could go back to work. I wish I could drink more tea. I wish I could go on vacation. I wish I think you can use it with almost everything. But definitely you see I'm saying I wish I, right? The same way that you put it in your question. So I wish I had more time. I wish I didn't eat so much. Let me see here. I have a couple more grammar questions. Again, I usually don't answer grammar questions because you're better off watching a specific grammar video. If you can find a video from someone who speaks, who teaches English, that would be great. Just give me one moment here. We're going to take just a bit of time. Usually at this point in the lesson, I switch the chat to members only, and I take some time to answer questions directly from my members. First of all, thank you to all of you who are members. When you see people with their name in green with a nice crown beside their name, those are people who have become members of my channel. So thank you so much for supporting me. You make all of this possible by helping me buy equipment and the things I need to do this well. So thank you for being members. Anyone who is interested in being a member, there is a join button below. So right now we are in members only chat for about 10 minutes. If you are a member, you can ask questions directly in the chat. And then for the rest of you, hang around. I'll turn members only chat off in a moment, and then we'll go back to normal. But if you are new here, you should subscribe. Maudie says, we wish you become rich. You know, I don't know if I want to be rich, Maudie. I just want to be happy. And sometimes I'm worried that money makes people unhappy. Samuel Chen, hi, how are you, Teacher Bob? I wonder, is beautiful handwriting considered important in the English language, like some aesthetic value? Maybe I should use calligraphy. It's very rare now. People do not appreciate things that are handwritten. I mean, they do, but it's not very common to see handwritten things happening, okay? Elias, have you ever, I mean, it's appreciated, Samuel. People do like getting handwritten things, but I think in day-to-day life, people do not handwrite very often. Elias Gomez, have you ever worked as a systems programmer? Elias, I worked as a web developer writing code in PHP using MySQL as my database. I did that for 20 years as a side job, and then eventually I started YouTube. Maudie, 611 members. Well, there's 611 viewers, Maudie, but I certainly don't have 611 members, no. Sam, the Taiwanese, hi Teacher Bob, is that easy to raise 5 kids? Do you have any tips to share? I think I would be bankrupt if I had to raise 5 kids. I really admire you a lot. So the biggest tip I can give you is cook all your own food. Don't eat restaurant food if you have 5 children. We do get a pizza or 2 once in a while. We sometimes order pizza, but my biggest advice would be if you have more than 2 or 3 kids, don't go out to eat. Just make your own food at home and large quantities, and eat lots of rice because it's cheap. Rice and noodles and potatoes. That's what I would say. Maudie says, thanks, no problem, Maudie. Lali, what is the river behind you called? It is called the Welland River. It has a few different names. Panthera Nori, Teacher Bob, what is the difference between deal, handle, treat? Can you say some examples with them? So when you deal with people, it's important that you handle them nicely and you treat them well. We usually use handle when talking about people we are in charge of, okay? So when I handle my kids with care. If you pick up a baby, you want to handle the baby with care. But certainly, Panthera, when you deal with people, you want to make sure you treat them nicely. So dealing with people means when you have conversations with them, when you work with them, when you deal with them. So That's how I would say that. Elias Gomez, cool teacher. I'm programming Java. Elias, I've programmed a little bit in Java. Not a lot, but I've definitely programmed in Java. Let's see here. Siraj has the question about either and neither, or either and neither. This question comes up from time to time. So either I can answer it or not. So there's my example of using either. So either I can answer the question or I can just skip it. But I think that when it comes to answering questions, I don't want to answer some and not others. So I think I should answer this one. So how would I use neither though? So neither my brother nor I like coffee. That's not true. That was a bad example because it's a lie. I actually love coffee, but that was your example with neither. Let's see, Madi, is there any difference between aisle and track? So in our grocery stores, you go up and down the aisles. We use the word aisle, and that is that's the word I would use, Madi. Annette Menzie, hi Teacher Bob, has the heat wave damaged your flowers? No, but the freezing temperatures 3 weeks ago did do a little bit of damage. We did notice that some of the peony buds froze, so we are a little bit worried. Elias Gomez, you could speak some examples using the words chugging along. Yeah, so we're just chugging along right now. When you're doing work and you're getting a lot of work done and it's going well, you can sometimes say you're just chugging along and getting stuff done. Let me grab another question from the question bank. This is from Adnan. Adnan's question is, oh, and Annette Monzi says, has the heat wave damage? Oh, I answered that one. Sorry, Annette. Adnan, hi, Teacher Bob. Hope you are doing well. I have a question for you. I think a cat just ran by me. Is there a difference between the Canadian accent and the American accent? There is a very, very slight difference, okay? But it is very, very similar. Like Brent from American English with this guy, he speaks English as clearly and the same as I do. If we talk to each other, we have no problem understanding each other. Wanderley has joined and become a member. Thank you so much for becoming a member, Wanderley. Welcome to your live stream fun. You get to have your name in green and you get a crown, and you can ask questions during the members only part of the chat. Teacher Bob from Panthera Nori. Oh, sorry, Elias Gomez says, thank you, Professor Bob. No problem, Elias. Panthera Nori, Teacher Bob, when I'm listening to speeches, for example, on conferences, sometimes they say, jump this down. What could that mean? You know, if I was showing you a web page, I might say, oh, I'm just going to jump this down to a lower spot on the web page. Or if I had a multi-page document, I might say, okay, I'm just going to jump this down to page 8. And it's usually when you're projecting something on a wall and showing it to other people. That's my guess, Panthori. That's my guess for sure. Brent, wait, I thought Brent left. I thought Brent was like, I have to go. Anyways, Brent's back. At a red light, do you say at the weekend like the UK or on the weekend like the US? So at a red light, do you say, I'm not sure, but I usually, when I'm talking about the weekend, I say on the weekend. So on the weekend, I usually go and do a live stream in my yard. We don't say at the weekend very often, Brent. I hope I understood your question, because I just said Americans and Canadians understand each other perfectly. Samuel Chen, thanks for answering, Bob. Maybe writing neatly and easy to read is the first step. Do kids in Canada practice handwriting anymore? Yes, they do. They definitely practice handwriting. In fact, we still have students write tests by hand with a pen. Although when they write papers and essays, they do it on a computer. Madi has just posted, we need more pics. I'll find some, Madi. I was only allowed to have 4, but now I'm allowed to have 20. So maybe I will find some more and I will post them there. Let's see here. Next question is from Renata from the general chat. Hello, Bob. Could you explain the difference between swanky, snazzy, fancy? Thank you in advance. They're all very similar. If you have a swanky apartment, it means you have a lot of money and you rent a very expensive apartment. If you have a snazzy suit, it means it looks good. So it could be expensive, but it also looks good. And then fancy as well. Like I might wear a fancy shirt the next time I go out. So swanky is a little more like rich and glamorous looking, and fancy is a little more like it looks really good. It's a nice thing to have. And then snazzy could be the same. They're all very similar, by the way, Renata. Let's see here. Brent, when out is pronounced, Americans know who the Canadians are. Yes, for sure. Out and boat. So, sorry, I was at a red light in my car. I wrote quickly, sorry. Oh, I see, you're at a red light. You're driving. Don't text and drive, Brent. Wanderley, thank you, teacher, for your job. You really do it great. You're welcome, Wanderley. Panthera Nori, I also see jump this around. Could you mean something like when you skip a part of the given thing and you're going to continue somewhere else? Yeah, I'm going to jump this around. If I was presenting something, I could say, you know, I'm going to jump this around a bit, for sure. And Amani Pontes, welcome. Thank you so much for becoming a member as well. That is awesome. I think I'm talking too fast, but that's fine. It's good to practice listening to an English speaker talking fast too, isn't it? Let's see here. I'm going to grab another question from over here. Let's see. GeneX58. Good morning, Bob. GeneX58 in White Rock, BC here. May I ask if I should say understood or understand when someone gives me an instruction or something? I would say understood. So it's the short form of saying I understand. But if someone says drive down Main Street and turn left, you could say I understand, or you could say understood. So understood is like a one-word response that means I understand. Norma says, is it correct if I say, is that you who broke that? Thank you. Yeah, that's something I say to my kids all the time. And I would say, is that you who broke that? I could also say, was it you who broke that? That's probably more what I would say. Your phrase is not incorrect, but I would say, was it you who broke that? Or yes, that's the one I would say, but yours is correct as well. Ernani Pontes says hello in the chat. Hello, Ernani. Good to have you here as a member. Let me get the next question from the bank of questions. Let's see here. Gabrielle. Hello, Bob. Hi, Gabrielle. I hope you are fine. I am. Would you help me to address the different pronunciation of words like either, often, events? Shall we use any of them? Thanks. So here's the thing. You can say either or either. There's two pronunciations. I use both, and I don't ever know which one's going to come out of my mouth. Either the first one or the second one. Either the first one or the second one. The next word, often. I often say it, and you can hear the T, often. But when I speak really quickly, I often leave the T out. So notice that, what I just said there. I often leave the T out. I often leave the T out. It kind of softens as you go through it. And then events. There aren't very many events right now, for sure. So there's an example. I have a super chat. Hey, Bob, would I share with you my own song? If you have a song, that would be great. Put it in the comments below, and I'll have a look at it. I'll listen. Panthera Nori. Let's see. Madi, don't ask a lot of questions. Bob the Canadian is impressed. Yeah. Panthera Nori. Punctual is always related to time. Is there any similar rule to the word accurate, how and where to use it? No, accurate is, yeah, it's mostly used when you are making something or writing something down. You want to make sure that you are accurate when you record something. When you write down what someone has said, you want to make sure that you are accurate. Let's see here. So maybe there is a similar rule. Maybe accurate is related to when you are making something or creating something, because when you measure a piece of wood, if you were making furniture, you want to make sure that it is accurate. Okay, so you want to make sure that it is perfect. So that's a tricky one. That's a good question though. Next question from Nixon. Let me get that posted here. Hi teacher, what kind of past is more common to use when they ask you where you were? Well, the most common past is to say, if you're using the verb to be, is to say I was at the store. Yesterday I was at the store. Last week I was at the store. A few months ago I was at work. Last year I was probably sitting right here at this picnic table. So that would be what I would think would be the most common. Let me see here. I'll flip the chat back to all chat in just a moment. Natalia says, I have found a person who will practice English with me online. So I have a new problem. How should I organize this lessons? I'm not professional and my teacher too. Well, here's the thing. I would structure it, if you're meeting once per week, I would make sure that you are reading, listening to, and watching something between each meeting, and then you should talk about what you watched or listened to. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is the most common conversations in English are about family, work, hobbies, sport, which is kind of hobbies, interests, vacations, travel. Just do a search for common English topics, and then every week make sure you have a conversation about one of those topics. Panther Nori says, thank you so much. I think I could get the point of it. Good. Elias Gomez, I'm backing up. Professor, could you give a few more examples using the word string? I still get a little confused when to use it. So a string is obviously comes on a spool, and then you have a string, and you can use a string. You can tie a string around something. You can also, in a programming language, store text in a string. That's another use of it. You can string something up, so you can use it as a verb. In this winter, we string Christmas lights on our house. So there you go. Hey, I'm going to flip the chat back to normal chat. Give me a sec to find where that setting is, because sometimes I wish it was just a big button that I could push. As we move back to normal chat, I do want to thank all of my members once again. I know I thank my members a lot, but I do really appreciate them. And again, if you want to support me, even if it's just for a month, there is a big join button below. You can join my channel. It's very reasonable, and it helps me keep doing all of these lessons. I'm pretty busy, and knowing that my members appreciate me helps me stay motivated to make English lessons. So anyways, thanks again to all my members. And again, you don't have to be a member. If you just want to be a subscriber, click the red subscribe button. That is free. Deekshant says, once your kids broke the TV, right? Yes, our kids, it still works, but there's a little crack in the bottom. And there's a funny story behind that, because we still don't know who broke it really. Paolo is asking about either and neither. I'm gonna skip that question, Paolo, because we did kind of just deal with it. Let's see here. Sorry about the wind, folks. It's getting windier and windier out here. Pavel, hello, our teacher. Could you explain the meaning of such words like overwhelmed and overwhelming and so on? Which situations should we use them? Thanks in advance. So if you have a job and your boss gives you too much work, you would say that you feel overwhelmed, okay? So if I can do, let's say I work 8 hours a day, but my boss gives me so much work to do, it takes me 10 hours to do it, I could say I am overwhelmed. In addition, I could say my job is overwhelming. So notice the difference there. I am overwhelmed, but the job itself is overwhelming, okay? Another good example would be some people, when they do live lessons, they feel overwhelmed, and they say that live lessons are overwhelming. So notice the slight difference there. Let's see here. Panthera Nori, wow, that must be a really smart TV, broken and still working. Yes, yeah, for sure. Let me get the next question, folks. Arturo says, how is the weather like in your country at this moment? So I'm gonna give you a smoother way to ask that question. We would say, what's the weather like in your country right now? Okay, that would be a good way to ask that question. It is, I think it's about 16 degrees Celsius. It is slightly cloudy, and it looks like it might rain. But again, I have my umbrella, my blue plaid umbrella, and it's quite windy. So that is the weather report from right here. Let's see here. Next question is from Minata Vishwakarma. Hi, Bob. Hope you're doing well. I am. Thanks for asking. What's the meaning of the idiom, catch the death, please? Oh, so we have an idiom, you can catch a death of a cold. So this is a kind of an extreme way to say it, but sometimes we'll say to kids, you know, don't go outside without a coat on, you'll catch a death of a cold. That is the what I am used to hearing. Let's see here. American English with this guy. My wife is in the store. Wow, you're out shopping and watching a live stream. That is impressive for sure, Brent. Let's see here. Let's get the next question. Rajesh Rawat says, hi, Teacher Bob, good evening, how are you? While I'm troubled to use the words stymie and hallucinate, could you please give me some examples to use these words? If you stymie something, it means you make it not happen. So if someone has a plan and you stymie it, it means you make the plan not work. When you hallucinate, it means you see things that aren't there, okay? So if you have a really high fever, sometimes you can hallucinate. Let's see here. Next question is from Abel. Hi, nice to see you. Nice to see you too. The phrases what's up, what's happening, and what's going on, do they mean the same thing? So I did correct your phrases. Let me read them again. What's up, what's happening, and what's going on. That's how you would ask those. And yes, they do all mean the same thing. The most common would be what's up or what's going on. Although what's happening, yeah, I hear that once in a while still. Hey, what's happening? Yeah, but what's up and what's going on would be very, very common for sure. Let's see here. Let me clean up my questions, everybody. The wind is calming down a little bit. That's nice. Next question is from Pros. Hi, Bob. This is Pros from India. Hi, Pros. I would like to know the exact meaning behind the phrase jack of all trades. Okay, so jack of all trades. A jack of all trades is good at many, many things. So if you are good at building things and you are good at doing things on the computer and you are good at cooking, we would say that you are a jack of all trades. Someone who is really good at many, many things. Dave 94. Hey Bob, how are you? I'm curious if you like pop music and specifically Lady Gaga. I don't mind Lady Gaga. I don't listen to a lot of Lady Gaga, but she does have some good music. Some of her older stuff is really, really good. Let's see. Adam has the next question. Hi Bob, how are you? I hope you and your family are well. What is the difference between when and while? Best greetings from Lebanon. Thank you in advance. So yeah, so they have different meanings in some situations, but I think what you're asking is about when we use them at the same time. So I could say, when you are learning English, it's important that you talk out loud. While you are learning English, it's important that you talk out loud. So there are situations where we use when and while at the same time. I drink a lot of tea when I am doing a live lesson. I drink a lot of tea while I'm doing a live lesson. So we do use them somewhat interchangeably. Next question is from Shambo. For example, do you not like mangoes? Yes, I like mangoes. Yes, I do not like mangoes, which is correct. So if I say, do you not like mangoes? You would answer and say, yes, I like mangoes, or no, I don't like mangoes. Okay, those are the two possible answers. Okay, so yes, I do like mangoes, or yes, I like mangoes, or no, I don't like mangoes. Those are the two correct answers. Let's see here. I keep reading the chat right now. That's why I'm getting distracted. Let me get back to the questions. That's what I'm here for, to answer questions. Next, here we go. Brahim Akase from Morocco. Hi, Teacher Bob. A friend asked me, what are the benefits of learning English? What can I say to him? Well, it depends on why you are learning it. But some of the benefits are, if you work in the world of international business, you will have a better job. If you want to travel to an English-speaking country, that will help. But generally, most people want to learn English because they are going to work somewhere where they need to know English. Or another big reason is they would like to move or immigrate to a country where people speak English. Abel Garach in the chat says, Bob, what weather do you like more? I like cool weather. The colder, the better. Let's see here. Amit, hi Bob, what does it mean he is alive but not kicking? Thanks. It's kind of a play on words, Amit. The real phrase that we use is he's alive and kicking, which is just a way of saying that someone is healthy and doing well. Well, not healthy and doing well, but they haven't died. So that's what that would mean. Antonio has the next question. Antonio, let's see. Hello, Bob. Could you please explain the difference between want and wish? So I want to go back to work. I wish to go back to work. I wish I could go back to work. They both express a desire for something, and they're very, very similar. So I would use want more often than wish, but they can be used in quite the same way. And thanks, Panthora Nori, for helping people understand how things work. That's awesome of you. I see you in the chat helping out Ann Riva. That is awesome of you. Let's see here. Next question is from Rosa from Brazil. Could you please pronounce she writes? and the writer of a book. Now you do have a little spelling mistake there. Writer only has one T, but I would say she writes, and I would say the writer of a book. You are welcome, Rosa. Let's see here. Huao Zhang has the next question. What's the difference between the messy table and the table being messy? There is no difference in the meaning. Okay, so you have a messy table, or I hate it when the table is messy. It's very, very similar. You are simply describing in a couple of ways that the table is messy. Dimitro, what is the difference between extend and expand? What is the meaning of the word fancy? So fancy is just something that's nicer than normal. When something expands, it gets bigger, but when you extend something, it gets longer. If you wonder why I'm going quickly, it's because if I go 2 minutes hard, I think I can get through all the questions. Fernanda, what is the difference between at hospital and in hospital? Depending on where you are from, in Canada we say that someone is in the hospital. In Britain they say that people are in hospital or at hospital, okay? But in Canada, and I think in the United States, we would say that they are in the hospital. Next question. Wow, it's really getting windy. Borka, a guest from the US visiting our office asked me to come up to him. I answered, I'm coming. Could the answer be funny or even offensive, as it may have a sexual meaning? So it does. I'm not going to explain the detail here. In normal everyday talk, we do say that phrase, but it can have a sexual meaning as well. Although we generally ignore that in day-to-day English. And we do say the phrase like, hey, let's go. And I say, yep, I'm coming. But yes, it does have other meanings as well. Guys, okay, let me go quick. Rapid pace. Le Roi. Recommend us some books, please. Please ask that question in the comments and I will recommend some books for you. But the two I recommend are The Martian by Andy Weir and The Pearl by John Steinbeck. Let's see here. Next question from Al. Hi Bob, which one is correct? There is also some geese, or there are also some geese, and why? So there are also some geese is correct, but we sometimes say there's also some geese. So we contract there are and we use it like there is, which is not right, but we say it. So we would say there are some geese or there's some geese. Both would be correct. Real quick, Steve, these two words sound really similar to me, bald and bold. Bald and bold. There you go. Just practice them. Let's see here. Kevin K, hello Bob. Could you explain come up and go up? So if I'm on the ground, I could tell someone to go up the tree. If I am already in the tree, I would say come up the tree. There you go. 3 more questions. Here you go. Igor, please explain the meaning of accuracy. When something is very precise and correct, that is what accuracy means. Next question from Miller. Could you advise what is the best kind for improving my IELTS score? Practice, practice, practice. Get a coach who specializes in teaching you how to become good at doing the IELTS. And last question is from Fabiano. I actually answered all the questions. Wait, I have to answer this one first. Why have you started a YouTube channel? How did you get the idea? I just wanted to learn how to do YouTube. I thought teaching English sounded like a good thing to do because I'm already a language teacher and a native English speaker. By the way, I'm a French teacher. So I thought I would start a YouTube channel where instead of teaching French, where my accent is a little bit bad, I would teach English using all of the skills that I learned as when I became a French teacher. So anyways, I'm Bob the Canadian. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to come back tomorrow and watch parts of this English lesson with the English subtitles on. If there were parts that you didn't understand, if you want to help support my channel, please consider becoming a member. There is a link that will pop up in the chat. If you are new here and don't know who I am Bob the Canadian. I teach English on YouTube. You should click that subscribe button. There will be a new English lesson this coming Tuesday. Like every Tuesday, I will do a live lesson next Friday, and I will do a live question and answer lesson or session next Saturday as well. Thanks to Dave and Todd for being here. Thanks to Brent from American English with This Guy for being here and answering some questions in the chat, even while he was out taking his wife out for shopping. Thanks again to all of my members and all of my subscribers. Shout outs to all kinds of people. I don't want to start saying names because I will forget people. I think I went a little longer than normal today, 3 minutes longer. That's not too bad. And sorry that I talked so quickly at the end there. I wanted to answer all the questions for once. I think I mixed one question, but it's too late now. Have a great weekend. That's it. We're done. Wow, and there were no technical problems, so that's awesome. Anyways, give this video a thumbs up. Be nice, be kind, have a great weekend.